Donald Trump is Time Magazine's Person of the Year for 2024. So that was just announced today, which is very interesting. I actually sat down and had a read of parts of the interview. And I guess what happens is they went in November to Mar-a-Lago and they sat down and asked him a bunch of questions. And if you think about it, yeah, I think that's about right. Donald Trump is the person of the year. He's been in the news basically almost every single day. He won the election, and I think they go over a whole bunch of points in that interview. One was like the election itself, defeating Kamala Harris, and like talking about how Kamala Harris didn't do a lot of media exposure interviews and how that hurt her. They talk about the January 6th rioters and that he has a priority to pardon a bunch of those people in the new year. Like, he actually blatantly says it in this interview. They talk about the war in Ukraine. They talk about the war in Gaza. And, like, the interviewer basically says, do you trust Benjamin Netanyahu? And he says, I don't trust anybody. And so I found that very interesting. And yeah, they talk about lowering prices for Americans. He talks about like grocery prices, but he also talks about inflation. What else did they talk about in the interview? Oh yeah, the nomination of Matt Gaetz, how that was disappointing and everything. So yeah, very interesting interview to see, what his answers will be. But I think they are right. He was the person of the year. He was the person that everybody was talking about, good or bad. They were still talking about him. They were talking about, like even on this channel, we talked about how people tried to assassinate Trump, you know. So, very, very interesting pick. And that's the cover behind me. So, what do you think about this situation? Who would you have picked for Time's Person of the Year? I think that it's about right that Donald Trump was one of the most important people of 2024.